Hey guys, how's it going? How was your beautiful day going on this beautiful afternoon or day, whenever this is being posted? Today we actually have a special, different kind of video for you. We are on Madden, and today I wanted to experiment. What if all of the rookie quarterbacks switched teams? What would happen? So basically, the way that I determined what player would go to which team, if you were the best quarterback, which is Jaden Daniels, you went to the worst team, which is the Patriots. So as you can see, Jaden Daniels is now a New England Patriot. Because of the teams that drafted quarterbacks this year, the Patriots are the worst team. So they are getting the best quarterback, which means the second best quarterback goes to the second worst team, which means so far performing this year, Bo Nix has been the second best quarterback. So he will go to the Bears in this scenario. The third best quarterback, this is just my opinion, was Drake May. So Drake May is on the Saints because they are the third worst team. I added Spencer Rattler in it because he has started 6 games, which is more than Michael Penix. So I thought he also deserved to be in this as well. So Drake May went to the Saints in place of Spencer Rattler. And then after that, we have Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams went to the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Michael Penix went to the Broncos. So Caleb Williams went to the Falcons because he was the 4th best quarterback so far. And then, so he, like I said, he went to the Falcons, so he will be backing up Kirk Cousins, or maybe he gets to start sometime in that season. But we will see. So we're going to fast forward their careers basically. But then we got Michael Penix on the Broncos. JJ McCarthy went to the Commanders because I wanted to switch teams. I know he hasn't played this year and Spencer Rattler has, but I didn't want JJ McCarthy to stay on the Vikings. The point of this video was to switch QBs around to different teams. So I put JJ McCarthy on the Commanders, which means that on the Vikings, backing up Sam Darnold will be Spencer Rattler, which makes the most sense. Spencer Rattler, in my opinion, is probably going to be the worst quarterback of all these quarterbacks. So him being behind Sam Darnold doesn't mean too much to me. Honestly, the only reason he's really in this video is just so that I can get JJ McCarthy off of his team anyway. So that we can actually do something with this video. But maybe Spencer Rattler turns into the best quarterback of all of them. You never really know. We are going to get right into this. So we are going to be on the Vikings just because that's the team that I guess I chose. So we will be following, I guess technically, Sam Darnold. We're following Spencer Rattler technically. Alrighty, so we are at the mid-season mark for these teams. So let's kind of see. Minnesota's 3-3. I can probably tell you right now that most likely we haven't seen any Spencer Rattler at all. Yeah, no Spencer Rattler at all for the Vikings. Let's go to the other teams and see what or how they are doing so far. I guess we'll start with the Bears with Bo Nix. He has 1,202 yards. This is halfway through the season. 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 66% completion percentage. He's throwing about 200 yards per game. We don't know how good this team is or bad they are, but right now Bo Nix is not looking amazing. 66% completion percentage is actually not bad though. That's actually pretty decent. But the 6 to 7 turnover ratio is not very good. Then we got Michael Penix right now, who is sharing time with Zach Wilson. I am wondering if Michael Penix got hurt or something, but he has 898 passing yards, 75%. Or 75 or whatever, 61% completion percentage, which isn't as good, but he has 7 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Zach Wilson has 8 to 2. Is Zach Wilson going to take this starting job from him? JJ McCarthy has not started this season. It has been Marcus Mariota, who has 1,144 yards and honestly hasn't done much. And he has an 8 to 8 interception ratio, 60% completion percentage. Next for the Falcons, we got Caleb Williams, who has started. He has 1,600 yards. 14 touchdowns, 7 incompletions. He's throwing 233 yards per game. He is definitely playing like the best quarterback so far that we've looked at. Now we got Jaden Daniels, who has 1,500. Jacoby Brissett has also got some time, so I'm assuming Jaden was out for a game or so. But 1,500 yards. He's 136 for 208. Has 8 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He's also been playing pretty decent so far this season. And then we got Drake May, who has 1,493. He has 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. he's also playing pretty decent. Let's go to the standings real quick. Broncos are 5-2 right now. So the Broncos with Michael Penix are 5-2. And Zach Wilson, actually. I don't know if Michael Penix is currently hurt or injured or something, but right now, Denver is 5-2 with Michael Penix. Second highest team would be the Vikings, but they actually don't have him playing. The Saints are 3-4 right now with Drake May at the helm. Then you got the Commanders also at 3-4 right now with, well, actually, Marcus Mariota, because JJ McCarthy is not playing yet. Then you got the Bears at 2-4. This is the Bo Nix team, so 2-4 for Bo Nix over there. The Falcons are 2-5, which is not very good. The Falcons, who do they have? They have Caleb Williams. The Patriots are the worst team in the league. They are 1-6 right now. We can't really see their stats, but with Jaden Daniels, it looks like they still are not very good. So, well, let's just sim to the end of the season and see how this all pans out. Alrighty, so we are back we are at the playoffs part of this video. It looks like Washington was 4-13 with probably Marcus Mariota, I'm guessing, but I don't really remember. The Chicago Bears were 9-8 with Bo Nix, and they made the playoffs, so good job for them. And Minnesota was 6-11 with, I'm guessing, Sam Darnold. I don't know if the rookie got to play at all. The Saints were 7-10, and Atlanta was 11-6 with Caleb Williams. So, and we don't know what the AFC looked like, but let's go kind of see how these dudes were doing. Spencer Rattler did not play a single snap all season, unfortunately. The Bears, Bo Nix had 3,800 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, which is a lot better. He started 6-7. So he basically went 20 touchdowns to 5 the rest of the season. 68% completion percentage, 100 rating. Really, really good turnaround for him. They made the playoffs, so good for him. Then we got Michael Penix, who did play most of the season. It actually looks like Zach Wilson did only play those few games. So Michael Penix only missed a few games, but he had 3,300 yards, 26 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 63% completion percentage, so that is pretty good. Then we have the Commanders. Marcus Mariota played the entire season. JJ McCarthy did not get a snap. 2,600 yards, 15 touchdowns to 25 interceptions, 56% completion percentage. I do not understand why you would not put JJ McCarthy in the game. Now the Falcons with a 4,200 yard passer in his rookie season, Caleb Williams, 35 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, 66% completion percentage. A pretty good season from Caleb Williams as he led them to an 11-6 record, and they're in the playoffs. Patriots, so this is Jaden Daniels, 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 3,600 yards, 66% completion percentage. Not a horrible season. Not horrible. Not over the top amazing, but not horrible. The Saints played Drake May all year, 28 touchdowns to 18 interceptions, 3,600 passing yards for Drake May. Now we are looking at our league standing. So the best rookie team was Caleb Williams Falcons, who went 11-6 and made the playoffs. Then we had the Bears. They were the only other playoff team. They were the only other playoff team with a rookie quarterback, which that was Bo Nix for the Bears. He led them to 9-8 and to the playoffs. Then we had the Broncos, who just missed it with Michael Penix. They went 9-8 as well. And then the Saints with Drake May went 7-10. That's not actually too bad for the Saints. So pretty decent from Drake May. Pretty decent season from Drake May for them. The Patriots actually finished 5-12. As we did establish, they were 1-6 at one point. So to finish the season, they went 4-6. So that's not horrible. That's actually not a horrible finish for Jaden Daniels and this team. And then the Commanders were 4-13, who finished the season pretty bad and an 8-game losing streak. But obviously, JJ McCarthy didn't even play, so that's nothing that they could really do about that. Alrighty, so first week of the playoffs, the Bears got beat 42-7 in this game. Not a great first game for Bo Nix. He actually didn't turn the ball over. He was 137, threw for 137 yards, 14 for 21, which isn't horrible. He only got sacked once, but their offense was somehow really bad. Bo Nix had 10 carries for 45 yards and the only touchdown of the game. Besides that, DeAndre Swift could not run anywhere. Saquon Barkley had a good game. Jalen Hurts, Kenneth Gainwell, just a really good game from the Eagles. Honestly, it wasn't actually a horrible game from Bo Nix. Really, he didn't throw a lot of incompletions, didn't throw any turnovers, just couldn't really push the ball down the field. It looks like better defense from Philadelphia. Our other playoff team, the Caleb Williams-led Falcons, beat the Lions in the first round, 42-28. So Caleb Williams threw for 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He threw an 80-yard pass. I'm guessing it was a touchdown. He threw 80% completion, 82% completion percentage. He only threw 5 incompletions. What a game from Caleb Williams. And in the run game, Bijan didn't do anything crazy, honestly. The run game honestly wasn't crazy. It was just the pass game from Caleb Williams that really won them that game. So good for them, honestly. We got the Falcons lost. They lost to the 49ers 35-29. And you had Caleb Williams, 202 yards, a touchdown. He only threw 69% completion percentage, which actually is not bad. He got sacked twice. Let's see, rushing. The run game just didn't really help him out much in this game. And usually you would like to get that run game to help you a bit, and it did not. So that'll be the end of the first season. All right, so now we are going into our second season of the video. I'm just going to sim to the playoffs. Honestly, I'm not going to do to mid-season every single most of the seasons. I'm not really going to go to mid-season. Actually, I'm going to go to mid-season, but if nothing happens, you guys won't see it anyway. How about that? All right, so I did just notice that Spencer Rattler is getting time. They no longer have Sam Darnold, so Spencer Rattler is getting the starting job, and he has 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions halfway through the season. And 59% completion percentage is not great, but honestly, only 3 interceptions. I don't hate that. I don't hate that idea at all. And then Bo Nix also only has 4 interceptions. He has 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's throwing 69% from the field. 69% completion percentage for Bo Nix. So he's actually having a pretty good season himself. Michael Penix is having not a great season. 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 62% completion percentage. So not an amazing season for Michael Penix so far. Okay, I'm just not good. Let's just move on. I'm not even gonna draw attention. I'm not even gonna draw attention to the fact. Ooh, oh my goodness. JJ McCarthy is having a bit of a rough season as well. 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's actually playing though. Marcus Mariota is not playing. At least he's getting a shot. I mean, he's not playing very well, but he's getting a shot. And then wow, 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 4 picks, 72% completion percentage for Caleb Williams. What a guy. What a guy. Jaden Daniels is throwing 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 64% completion percentage. And then the Saints, we have Drake May with 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 64% completion percentage. I guess we are doing mid-season. We are looking at it mid-season. I don't want to do it every year, but we are doing it, I guess, for the first 2 seasons. Whatever. We at least this year we have everybody starting though. Every single rookie quarterback. Well, they're not rookies anymore, but every single quarterback that we have in this thing are starting. So let's see what we got. How are the Raiders 5-2? What kind of universe is that where the Raiders are 5-2 next season? If that happens, I'll shave my head. Anyway, it looks like all of the teams with the young quarterbacks are not very good this year. The Patriots are 3-3 with Jaden Daniels. The Falcons are 3-3 with Caleb Williams. The Bears are 3-4 with Bo Nix, who's having a decent season himself, but not decent enough. The Saints are 2-4 with Drake May. The Commanders are 2-5 with JJ McCarthy. The Broncos are 1-5 with Michael Penix. And then we got the Vikings with Spencer Rattler at 1-6. So nobody's doing overall amazing this season so far. So all right, so the Vikings finished 3-13 with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. I don't want to look at anything else until we get to those stats. Wow, Spencer Rattler finished 31st in pass yards, 3,206, 27 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's actually not horrible. There's a building block there for Spencer Rattler. I don't hate that for Spencer, actually. Let's see if he gets more development under his wing, and hopefully he can play a little bit better. Bo Nix, 31 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, 69% completion percentage, a pretty darn good season from Bo Nix, 3,600 passing yards. I wonder about his rushing. He had 316 and 2 touchdowns, and they had a 1,000-yard rusher as well. And then Roma Dunze was their best receiver. Bo Nix seemed to have a pretty decent season, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and hope that the Bears aren't too horrible. Next, we go to the Broncos, who have Michael Penix, 3,800 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Not a great touchdown to interception ratio, 63% completion percentage. That's not horrible. Not horrible. It is his sophomore season, so, but I mean, 3,800 passing yards is very, like, that's something to look forward to. So next we have JJ McCarthy on the Commanders, 3,700 yards, 25 touchdowns to 20 interceptions, 66 completion percentage. Kind of mid. He had more yards. He had a decent amount of yards. Just that touchdown to interception ratio is not great, but the completion percentage is not horrible either. Not an amazing season, but technically it's JJ McCarthy's rookie season because Marcus Mariota started all of last season. So next we got Caleb Williams. He had 4,700 yards. He almost had 5,000 passing yards. He had 39 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and he threw for 71% completion percentage. Amazing season from Caleb Williams. Next we got the Patriots. 3,600 yards for Jaden Daniels, basically 37. 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 67% completion percentage. That is a pretty good season from Jaden Daniels. Then we have Drake May, 3,800 passing yards, 30 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, 65% completion percentage. But what I didn't check, what I actually forgot to check last year, I'm just now kind of remembering that I completely forgot to check who won Rookie of the Year last year. The Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, was Lad McConkey. So it actually wasn't any of the MVP was Brock Purdy though. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Brock Purdy wins MVP. Okay, bro. All right. Let's go to the standings. Let's see if any of our teams made the playoffs. It already looks like none of them did. So the Falcons actually did at 9-8. So Caleb Williams made it. Jaden Daniels' team went 8-9, which is better than last season. I'm pretty sure they were 5-12. Michael Penix went 7-10, which is worse than last year. They went 9-8. Bo Nix went 5-12. He had a pretty good season himself, so I don't know how they went 5-12. Last season they made the playoffs at 9-8, so that's a little confusing. Then we have JJ McCarthy, 5-12 as well. And then the worst team in the league is Spencer Rattler. So let's see if Caleb Williams can actually win a playoff. Well, he actually won a playoff game last year. Let's see if he can win another one. And he does not. He loses to the 49ers and Brock Purdy, who's apparently amazing. But oh my goodness, Caleb Williams threw for almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions though, and threw 53 passes, 36 for 53. I'm guessing the run game was not great. It was not. Bijan Robinson in this game apparently is not very good. All right, so we are at the end of the next season. The Vikings went 1-16. I'm starting to wonder if it's my fault because I'm on them. I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do, I already kind of fucked it up. There's nothing I can do about it now, but I'm going to switch teams so that I'm not on the Vikings anymore, like a random team that nobody cares about, and then let this team do their thing because I for some reason I feel like it might be my fault that they're so bad. I don't know how. That wouldn't make any sense, but I mean, they're just so horrible. Spencer Rattler did play again. He threw for 3,200 yards again. This time, though, 22 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. Last year, I'm pretty sure he didn't throw that many interceptions. All right, now Bo Nix threw for 24 touchdowns and 19 interceptions. Then we have Michael Penix, 3,800 yards, 32 touchdowns and 19 interceptions. That's the best season of his career so far. Geno Smith and Drew Lock are here. I guess they just decided to go, whatever. It doesn't matter. 65% completion percentage. Not a horrible season. Actually pretty decent from Michael Penix there. So then you have JJ McCarthy, 3,200 yards himself, 25 touchdowns, only 4 incompletions, 71% completion percentage. Not a lot of yards, but very efficient. very efficient football. The Falcons, then you had Caleb Williams throw for 4,500 yards, 45 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, 70% completion percentage. Caleb Williams was a beast. He is definitely the best quarterback in this simulation. I'm not actually surprised. Jaden Daniels threw for 4,000 yards, though. 4,200 yards. Very, very good season for the Jaden Daniels. And then we have Drake May, who had 3,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 66% completion percentage. Another just kind of mid-year for Drake May. He has not played too amazing so far ever. So now let's kind of look at who made the playoffs and who did not. Who made the playoffs? So Caleb Williams made the playoffs once again. That is the only guy from the NFC to make it. And Jaden Daniels also made it. And he is the only guy from the AFC to make it. So everybody else missed the playoffs again this year. I like to see these teams start making the playoffs more, you know, with these rookie QBs, or these young QBs, but apparently not. 8-9 for the Commanders with JJ McCarthy. That's actually not horrible. That's better. I think they were 5-12 last year, so that's good progress. 7-10 for the Saints for Drake May. I'm pretty sure they were worse than that last year, like 5-12 or so. The Broncos also 5-12 last year, so more wins. Bears 6-11. I feel like they're getting worse. I don't know what they were last year, but all right. So both quarterbacks got kicked out of the playoffs in the first round. Jaden Daniels threw 162, a touchdown and an interception, through 68% completion percentage. Just not enough. His run game was 6 for 29, and then Rashard Richardson, probably their starting running back, was pretty not good. So Caleb Williams gets blown out by freaking an offensive lineman at quarterback. He 160, 2 interceptions, just not a good game from Caleb Williams. So that is going to be it for the 3rd season of this. Still no Super Bowl winner or even award winner. We don't even have one award winner yet. We are at the end of the, what is this, the 4th season? I don't know. But Bo Nix had a 3,600 yard season, 28 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 71 completion percentage. That is really good for Bo Nix for the season. And they did make the playoffs. I already saw they are 9-8. So good job for Bo Nix to lead them to a playoff berth. The Broncos, Michael Penix Jr., they did not actually make the playoffs. And it looks like Michael Penix was hurt and Baker Mayfield had to come in. 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 66% completion percentage. He was only throwing 138 yards per game before he got injured. How many games did he play? Did he get benched? Did Michael Penix get benched already in his 4th season? Michael Penix could have possibly gotten benched. Michael Penix has not been amazing in his career. He has not been amazing so far. Been kind of mid his whole career, and they went 7-10, the Broncos did. So I don't know. Maybe Michael Penix is already going to be close to done. Then we got the Commanders. JJ McCarthy threw for 4,700 yards, 44 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. 71% completion percentage. JJ McCarthy. Okay, that is a great season from JJ McCarthy. And they're actually 12-5. I did see. Now that I've kind of realized, he led them to a 12-5 season, and they're actually going up against Bo Nix in the first round. So we'll see how that goes. But holy crap! And then Caleb Williams also made the playoffs once again. 4,400 yards, 39 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's been by far the best quarterback in this whole challenge so far. And they made the playoffs once again. They made the playoffs every single year of his entire career. The Patriots, 4,000 yards from Jaden Daniels, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Sucky part for them, they only went 7-10 and missed the playoffs. So we won't see any more football from Jaden Daniels. But he had a good season himself. They just need to put a team around him at this point. The Saints with Drake May, he also threw for 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Most quarterbacks did really well, except for Michael Penix so far. All the quarterbacks did pretty gosh darn decent. Pretty gosh darn good this season. And then Spencer Rattler did not even finish the season, it looks like. They put in Mr. Terry Reed with 25 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. It looks like he probably played most of the season. He played 12 games. Spencer Rattler just unfortunately doesn't look like he is that guy. The AFC had no team make the playoffs. I'm not sure about the NFC though. I know 3 of them made it. Obviously the Falcons, the Commanders, and the Bears all made the playoffs. I'm sorry, that was the Browns. The Bears all made the playoffs. The Patriots missed it. The Vikings were better finally. They were 5-12. But again, Spencer Rattler didn't even play most of the season. Broncos were 5-12. Not good again. And unfortunately, Michael Penix could be the reason for that. I'm not sure. The Saints with Drake May, even though he had a good season himself, the team was pretty bad. I don't know if I don't think it's a coincidence that when I changed to the Jets, they happened to be the worst team in the league. So it must have been my fault that the Vikings were bad for so long. But I mean, it was Spencer Rattler anyway. I didn't really expect much of him in the first place, so I don't really care. All right, so at the first week of the playoffs, and wow, a shootout here from Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy. JJ threw for 303 yards and 4 touchdowns. Bo Nix 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. 74% completion percentage to 73. What a game. That is an amazing game. And then neither team's run game was that amazing. And both Bo and JJ McCarthy ran for the same amount of yards, but Bo had a rushing touchdown. That is insane. That is actually insane. They battled. Both players went crazy. Terry McLaurin went insane. But that's a great playoff matchup right there. 2-7, or the 2 seed and the 7 seed going at it. JJ McCarthy ultimately coming out on top, probably with the better team. And then Caleb Williams in the first round did not do anything. They lost again in the first round. Caleb Williams has lost in the first round, I think, all but 1 year. He only has 1 playoff win. I think he's 1-2 or 1-3. I think he's 1-3 in his playoff career. But this one wasn't much his fault. He was 30 for 37, 81% completion percentage, 335 yards and a touchdown. He did get sacked 3 times. And their run game wasn't even that bad. They actually played a pretty decent game. It just was not enough. So now we have 1 guy remaining. We have not had a quarterback make it past the second round of the playoffs. So let's see if JJ McCarthy can lead the Commanders to a win here. Playoff bracket. JJ McCarthy does not pull it out in the end. He will lose to the Giants, which is an interesting one. He loses to Andrew Lumen. He threw 170 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. It was only his second playoff game, so you got to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But JJ McCarthy had an amazing season, so that is something that Commanders fans can look forward to. So, alrighty, we are back. We are in the playoffs of I believe this is the 5th season? It's something. I have no idea. But let's see how each people... Whoa, all right. Dom Mooney going crazy for the Jets. They were 6-11. They weren't actually that bad, so good for him. Zach Wilson back on his team. Obviously, as we always do, starting off with Bo Nix. 39 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 72% completion percentage, and 4,148 yards. The best season of his career, coming off of that amazing playoff appearance last year. Amazing playoff performance. So a great season from Bo Nix. I actually do not know the seeds this time. I didn't look at it because I didn't want to yet. But I am assuming that the Bears were pretty good and probably made the playoffs. Wow. 4,339 yards from Michael Penix, 26 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. 26 touchdowns is not that much, but he threw 70% completion percentage. This was the best season of Michael Penix's career, so we better hope that the Broncos made the playoffs, because if they didn't, I don't know. But his player tag, if you look up in the right, it says player tag. Michael Penix is a bridge QB, so we might be seeing him move teams here pretty soon. The Commanders. JJ McCarthy also, wow, they're all throwing for 4,000 yards now. They're all progressing pretty well. JJ McCarthy, 4,400 yards. 38 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 72% completion percentage. They're all having great seasons. Obviously, JJ last season had an amazing season. He follows it up with another great one this year. Then you got the Falcons. Caleb Williams, 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 70% completion percentage. They all have 70% completion percentage, 40 touchdowns, and 4,300 or 4,000 yards. They're all playing absolutely amazing. It just kind of comes down to the playoffs at this point. Who can kind of win first? Caleb has been there every year, but he's only made it past the second round once. Or he's made it past the first round once. And we've seen JJ make it to the second round, and that's all he could do last year. So I mean, now we're starting to get to the point where these guys are actually fighting to see who is the best from that draft class. Jaden Daniels actually did not throw for 4,000 yards. He threw for 3,900, 31 touchdowns and 12 interceptions with a 67% completion percentage. They did make the playoffs though. I don't know what their record was. I know that they play the Ravens. That's all I know. I don't know anything more than that. The Saints with Drake May, he actually did not have a great season. 3,400 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 67% completion percentage. In the top right corner in player tags, it does say franchise QB, so he is still good enough to be a franchise QB, but we'll see how that goes for him. And then last but not least, the Vikings. They don't even have Spencer Rattler anymore. Let's see if we can find Spencer Rattler. All right, so I found Spencer Rattler. He is on the Browns. He got some playing time. He threw 11 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. It kind of looks like Spencer Rattler's career is over, which I think we already expected to happen anyway, but he is no longer on the Vikings. So our playoff teams this year, we have Jaden Daniels, as I said. So Michael Penix still has not made the playoffs. So he may be moving teams soon because it looks like he's just not good enough for the playoffs right now. And that's the only team over there. Drake May also has not made the playoffs either yet. Bo Nix, although he had probably the best season I've seen in his career, did not make the playoffs. Caleb Williams made it as a 2nd seed though, and we got JJ McCarthy as the 5th seed. So let's go see how these teams did and why some of them missed it. If I'm going to be honest, it kind of seems like Bo Nix's team is just not good enough, because he's made it to the playoffs twice, both times 9-8. And and then he has like the best season of his career and they still don't make the playoffs, which doesn't make any sense to me, but I mean, that's fine. Oh my goodness, the Commanders were 13-4 and happened to be the 5 seed because the Eagles were also 13-4. It's kind of like what's going on this year with the Lions and the Vikings, but amazing season actually from JJ McCarthy and the Commanders, which he could be the best quarterback if he can win some playoff games. Then just one game worse though was Caleb Williams, 12-5, very good for him, and then one game worse was Jaden Daniels, 11-6. So pretty good seasons actually from all of them. Then the Bears were 8-9, so just one game worse than last season, but they finished on a 6-game losing streak. So they were 8-3 at one point in the season, and then went on a 6-game losing streak to miss the playoffs. That one's tough. The Vikings, they don't have anybody anymore. 7-10 for the Broncos. I just don't know if I think Michael Penix might leave that team soon. He might not be the guy. He might be not the guy. So the Saints with Drake May went 7-10, and I think that is the last team. Let's see if we can see someone win in the play, like win more than just the first round of the playoff. Nobody plays each other though, so there's a chance that nobody wins. Oh, Jaden Daniels loses again, but both of the NFC quarterbacks on this side win. Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy. So Caleb Williams, oh my gosh, legacy game from Caleb Williams. He was sick of losing in the first round. Throws for 427 yards and 5 touchdowns against this Lumen dude who threw 413 and 3 touchdowns. What a game. What a game. What a game from these guys. Caleb Williams had 5 touchdown passes. Insane. And they finally get out of that first round. It's been a while since they've been out of it, but down here, JJ McCarthy beat up on the Packers. 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He only threw 4 incompletions all game, which is really good. And they have Jahmyr Gibbs now. No wonder they're so good. They have fucking Jahmyr Gibbs also. Geez. We still have 2 teams alive. Both of them have a chance to make it to the NFC Championship game. Nobody has made it to an NFC/AFC Championship game yet. So let's see if we can get that for the first time in this series. And we do. It's Caleb Williams. He finally breaks the seal. And oh my goodness, JJ McCarthy got destroyed in this game. Let's see how he played himself. Not amazing. 239, a touchdown and interception. Besides that first game against Bo Nix, his playoff status has not been amazing. I mean, yes, he did win last game, but his stats have not been great in the playoffs. But JJ McCarthy, obviously, it's only his 2nd trip to the playoffs, so you live and you learn. But over here, we had Caleb Williams again, 283 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has 9 touchdowns through the last 2 games. 9 passing touchdowns. Let's see if he had a rushing. He did not have a rushing touchdown. But Caleb Williams is determined to get to that Super Bowl. and he is now in the NFC Championship game. Can he win it? Can we see someone go to the Super Bowl? And he will. He will go to the Super Bowl. He will go to the Super Bowl. They beat up on the Eagles 45-28. He had 6 touchdown passes, 267 yards, 6 touchdown passes, which means he threw for what? 15 touchdown passes in this season? He threw 15 touchdown passes in this playoffs. Ridiculous numbers there. Amazing job by Caleb Williams. And he is the first one to get to the Super Bowl of all of these guys that in regular life, I guess you would kind of assume because he was the first overall pick. Let's see if he can win the Super Bowl. Can he be the first quarterback to win in the big game? He wins the Super Bowl. Caleb Williams is a Super Bowl champion. Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. My bad. It said 2017 and the 20 was on the Falcon side. So he actually did not win the Super Bowl. Nobody has won an award yet, but we finally have had someone go to the Super Bowl. Let's see how the Super Bowl played out. So in the Super Bowl, Caleb Williams, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's still at 17 total touchdowns. 17 passing touchdowns in the playoffs, which was not enough to get them the Super Bowl victory, but he has gone the farthest so far. I think he's definitely the best quarterback of this simulation so far. But I guess we'll see if we can see anybody else take his place possibly. Did nobody make the playoffs this year? What happened? So we had New Orleans make the playoffs. Hold on, let's look at the playoff bracket before I do anything else, because this is... Oh, no. Let me back up, actually. Jaden Daniels was the number 1 seed in the AFC. He led the Patriots to the number 1 seed. But what's funny, JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams both missed the playoffs this season, but Drake May made it. The only guy who hasn't made it yet is Michael Penix now. So I guess let's go look at the stats. How did the 2 best quarterbacks so far, and last season both of them won 13 plus games or something like that. Bo Nix this season, 3,300 yards. He threw 26 touchdown passes and only 5 interceptions. Pretty efficient year, but also not enough to make the playoffs apparently. Still, he didn't throw for many yards, honestly, and not that many touchdowns, but he was very efficient with the football, it seems. I guess. Then the Broncos had Jared Goff start most of the season. 22 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Michael Penix looks like it says mentor, bridge QB. Maybe Michael Penix makes a comeback, but it looks like we might have our second QB out. You know, we had one out, Spencer Rattler, who's already out basically. I think he's not even on the Browns anymore. I don't know where Spencer Rattler even is. But Jared Goff, 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, which is pretty good, but they didn't make the playoffs, so it wasn't good enough. Next, JJ McCarthy still threw for 4,400 yards, 35 touchdowns. Caleb Williams, 4,100 yards, 39 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 67% completion percentage. Again, good stats. Apparently not enough to make the playoffs. Now we got the Patriots, the 1-seeded Patriots. Jaden Daniels, 4,100 yards, 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, 68% completion percentage. Amazing from Jaden Daniels. And then we got the Saints. Drake May finally made the playoffs. 3,900 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions on 68% completion percentage. If you were wondering how Rattler did, he did not play a snap this season. So he is we could probably call that dude out of the league at this point. So let's see who missed it. Obviously, the Patriots are actually the best team in the league. So good job for Jaden Daniels doing all of that. And then the Saints were 11-6, which is pretty good. And let's see these teams that missed. Caleb Williams was 9-8, barely missed the playoffs by a game, it looks like. The Commanders were 6-11, even with a pretty good season. The Broncos obviously barely even had him start anyway, so it really didn't matter. And then yeah, that's kind of it. And the Bears were actually 4-13. I just saw the Bears were 4-13. Bo Nix might want to get out of there because he is playing some good football, but not good enough apparently. Ooh, Drake May makes it to the next round. So we have 2 guys alive. I actually didn't expect them to win. 170 yards and a touchdown was enough to win this game. Decent run game, not really actually, not a great run game either. It was just kind of a slow defensive battle there, but they win. They beat the 3 seed, the winner of their division, and go to play the Eagles, who put belt to booty last year on the Falcons, or not on the Falcons, on the Commanders. And we will also see if we can see Jaden Daniels win in the AFC. Nobody has gotten to the second round actually in the AFC, so, and he will not capitalize. They lose. He threw for 308 yards and 3 touchdowns. Really not his fault that they lost this game. He also had 9 carries for 50 yards, and their running back did well. Really not his fault that they lost that game. And Drake May also lost in this round. 238 yards and a touchdown was not enough to win the game because Jalen Hurts played a good game. We are going to go through one more season in this video, and then we will pick it up in another video. But let's go get through that next season. Alrighty, for the last of this video, it looks like Drake May made the playoffs again, because otherwise it wouldn't say game of the week. I'm not going to look at that side of the screen though, because I don't want to know. I don't want to know who made it yet or not. Russell Westbrook is a Jet. Bo Nix, 3,600 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 64% completion percentage. I don't know if that was good enough for a playoff. Probably not, because he's had much better seasons and missed the playoffs. So Bo Nix is starting to look like maybe he's not a franchise QB, even though his player tag says franchise QB. It's starting to look like that's possibly not something. Then here, Michael Penix did not even play a snap. John Mooney played all the QB snaps. So Michael Penix seems to have fizzled out, as well as he's our second quarterback to fizzle out. So sorry, Michael Penix. Now we go to the Commanders. We had another guy play some games, which means JJ McCarthy probably missed some. He had 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, 76% completion percentage. Wow, when he was playing, he was really good, but he only played 12 games. So he was injured for what looks like the last 5 games of the season. So I guess we will see. For JJ McCarthy, if those 5 games of the season are going to mean anything to him, if that made them miss the playoffs or anything. Falcons, Caleb Williams, 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 72% completion percentage. Good season from Caleb Williams. Then Jaden Daniels, 4,000 yards, just eclipsed it. 35 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 69% completion percentage. The Saints, Drake May, 3,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. What? Did he play every game? He played every game. That's a weird one. Not a lot of touchdowns, not a lot of yards. So I don't know how they made the playoffs, if they even did. I don't know that. Oh, the Saints did not make the. Why did it say game of the week then? The Saints did not make the playoffs, and actually, the only quarterback to make the playoffs this year on the NFC side, actually 2 quarterbacks made the playoffs, okay? And it was JJ McCarthy and Jaden Daniels. Both of them were the 1 seed. So I guess this last season was good enough for them both. So alrighty. So Jaden Daniels, they both lost. So we still don't have a Super Bowl winning quarterback after this first video. JJ McCarthy actually played decent. I mean, he didn't throw very efficiently, but 253 and 2 touchdowns is not bad. And again, for the second year in a row, having a bye, Jaden Daniels can't take advantage. 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they lose in their first game. So no real yearly awards for anybody yet. Nobody has like a MVP or anything. All right, now going through each player's career stats so far. So 25,000 yards. For Bo Nix, he has 202 touchdown passes and 79 interceptions. He's 68% completion percentage, which, if I'm not mistaken, 68% completion percentage is like one of the best of all time. So he is actually pretty decent. 215 yards per game so far in his career. He has eclipsed 4,000 yards 1 time. Next, we got Michael Penix, who unfortunately lost his job. 125 touchdowns, 66 interceptions before he did 17,000 passing yards. Then JJ McCarthy so far, 23,000 passing yards, 197 touchdowns. How long have I been paused for? Was I paused for that entire thing? Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was paused and I just went through all of that. Okay, everybody. I don't know what I went through. So far, career-wise, the best quarterback in statistical-wise has been Caleb Williams, especially. He also made the Super Bowl as well. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Caleb Williams has been the best quarterback so far. Second would probably be JJ or Jaden. Third would probably be Bo. Fourth would be Drake. Fifth would be Michael Penix because he did start for a while, but he has lost his job. Sixth would be Spencer Rattler. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a ton, and I hope you guys did enjoy this type of video. I'm going to try and do it a lot more. I'm going to try and do a lot more of these type of videos, and also I do gotta finish out their careers, so we will see that in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.